I've been thinking about him lately. Not in that chest-aching, can't-breathe way I used to, you know. It's more like quiet reflection. Weirdly peaceful, even. I've been asking myself questions I couldn't face before. And honestly, I wonder if he ever asked himself the same things. Did he even notice us? Or were we just passing by each other like two people in a crowded room who never really connect? I remember the beginning. God, the way his laughter made me feel. Like there was this space in my chest I didn't know was empty until he filled it. I thought, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe this is what it feels like to actually be seen. But even then, there were signs. Little things I chose to ignore. The way his voice would hesitate sometimes. How he wouldn't quite meet my eyes. Those times he'd just disappear without explanation. I told myself they were quirks, you know. Just imperfections we could work through. But looking back, they were the truth whispering to me, and I just wasn't ready to listen. Do you remember me telling you about those long nights we'd stay up talking? How I'd hang on every word like they were keeping me afloat. And then I'd leave feeling hollow, even when he was holding me. I realize now he always carried this distance with him, and I mistook it for depth or complexity. He was there physically, sure, but emotionally. He was always somewhere else. Did he even know what that felt like for me? Standing next to him, smiling, while inside I was aching for more than he could give. There were patterns, weren't there? Mixed signals that left me spinning in circles, promises he'd make and then just forget. And those silences, oh my God, those silences screamed louder than any fight we ever had. He avoided confrontation like it was poison, and I was always chasing clarity. He'd pull away, and I'd lean in harder, trying to close the gap. I see now it wasn't really about us. It was about him, about whatever he wasn't ready to face in himself. But I own my part too. I stayed way longer than I should have, thinking my love could somehow anchor him, fill in the gaps he refused to deal with. I learned the hard way that love can't survive where it's not allowed to breathe. Was it fear that kept him at arm's length? Habit? Or maybe that's just how he loves, carefully, measured, incomplete. I wonder sometimes if he noticed what it did to me, how I made myself smaller to make room for him, how I pushed down my own needs just to fit into what made him comfortable. Did he realize how lonely I felt, even when we were together? Did it ever cross his mind that I deserved more than scraps of attention? And then came the shift, not dramatic or explosive, just these small moments of clarity stacking up until I couldn't ignore them anymore. The day I realized his apologies were rehearsed words, not actually felt. The day I understood that his "I love you" always came with conditions I could never meet. The moment it hit me that I'd been begging for crumbs while giving him everything. It was subtle, like watching a door slowly close and the light fade. And when I finally saw it all clearly, I didn't feel angry. I felt relieved. Relieved that the illusion was over and I could finally hold the truth, even though it hurt. I've done a lot of reflecting on my part in all this. I see how I ignored my gut, tolerated things I never should have, and hoped love could change what was never going to change. I see the boundaries I didn't set, the courage I didn't have yet. But I also see growth, real growth. I've learned to recognize what's freely given versus what's withheld. I've learned that my worth doesn't depend on whether someone else shows up for me. I've learned to choose myself, even when it's scary, and I don't feel shame about who I was back then, just understanding, compassion, and honestly, a little bit of pride for how far I've come. Do you ever wonder why some relationships just don't last? Maybe it was never about right or wrong. Maybe it was about timing, about who we actually were. Maybe we were never meant to stay together, only to teach each other something, to show each other the parts of ourselves we needed to see. I've forgiven him for what I needed to forgive, and I've forgiven myself for staying too long, for loving too hard, for believing love could fix everything. I've let it all go now, the longing, the what-ifs, the hurt. It's left me like a tide going out,
and what's left behind is just peace, certainty. So this is my goodbye. Not some dramatic declaration or secret hope that he'll change or suddenly see things differently. I'm just letting go. Calmly, completely, without regret. I'm releasing the weight I've been carrying, all those stories I told myself about us, all those illusions I clung to. He's part of my past now, and honestly, that's exactly where he belongs. I don't need his acknowledgement, his apology, or even his understanding.
I've found my own. I hope he finds whatever he's looking for too. Whatever that is. I hope he grows. I hope he learns. I hope he eventually sees himself as clearly as I see myself now. And me? Well, I'm free. Free to be whole, free to love without compromising myself, free to walk forward with my head up and my heart certain. Anyway, that's my story. Just thought I'd get it off my chest, you know.